first month of 2025 is over. This month was a bit of a wild ride. I had a game on my list get banned for a few days during the month. I decided to play through a story game again during January, which probably slowed my progress on the story games I had been playing. I also finished up a trophy game this month that I had been working on for quite a little while. So it was kind of a weird month, and that's just talking about what I played. It's also been a bit of a weird and not always great month in regards to normal life, but you aren't here to hear about that. So let's take a look at what I played during January 2025. For the first time in a while, I actually have two games on this list, and they're both actual completions and not just games that I'm leaving behind and kind of dropping. One of these I kind of expected, and the other I just kind of decided to play this month and finished it fairly quickly. The first of these is Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been working on the last couple trophies for Horizon Zero Dawn for a while. I needed to beat New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty mode, and for a while at the start I was hitting many of the side quests and trying to go through most of the content. I decided that it would take a long time to do it that way, and started just hitting the story missions. Doing this made progress much quicker and allowed me to get finished up with the trophies on this game early in January. I'm kind of happy to see this be done. While I didn't hate Horizon Zero Dawn, I also didn't love it as much as I expected to. I'm still interested in giving Horizon Forbidden West a go, but I'm also happy to be done with Horizon Zero Dawn. The second completed game is Bastion. This was the game that I started kind of unexpectedly in January. I mainly did this to re-record footage from the game's story, but I also just love Bastion. The art style, the narration, the story, the gameplay, all of this game just does it for me. Thankfully, it is also a shorter game, so I was able to reload a save for a New Game Plus mode and blast through it during a week in January. Bastion was one of the first indie games that I really played and loved, so it has had a special place in my heart. Playing through it again just showed me how much I still love this game, and I think it holds up really well even years later. Due to playing Bastion during the month though, I don't feel like I made quite as much progress as I hoped to make during January in my story games. These games that I'm playing right now seem cursed to remain in my story category for quite some time, but I did make some progress in them during the month. First game is Stardew Valley. I was able to start Winter of Year 2 this month. I've mainly been working on trying to get things organized a bit more, replacing some small chests with larger chests and upgrading some buildings. My biggest accomplishment this month has been reaching level 100 in the Skull Cavern. You don't get a whole lot for it, just a boost of 25 to your health, but it was good to accomplish anyhow, along with getting a good supply of iridium in the process. Other than that, it's just been about setting myself up to make some more money and keep the pipeline of goods going. I also really want to keep working on a few of the quests I currently have, the main one being the one to collect 200 starfruit so that I can unlock more of the Stardew Expanded mod content. I feel like that's going to take a bit though, but maybe once I start getting going on it, it'll go a little quicker than I think it will. Second game is Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. I'm still on the second disc of the game, and didn't really progress as far as I would have liked to in the story this month. This was partly due to not playing it very much, because I was playing Bastion during the month, but also due to the events in the story opening up the ability to do side quests. This was what I felt like the bulk of my play was during the month. I was able to do the Triple Triad Card Club side quest, the Shumi Village quest, the Chocobo quest, as well as getting Odin and Tonberry at the Cetra ruins. Altogether, these were fairly time-consuming, and this meant that the story kind of took a pause for me as I was going and doing all these side quests. I did get to progress a little bit more afterwards and return to the town of Balam and beat down Fujin and Raijin, but that's about as far as I got this month. Moving on from story games, I'll be focusing on games that I call endless games. These are games that don't have clear-cut endings. They can be online PvP, arcade, sandbox, creative, simulation, or party games. Some of these are games I enjoy quite a bit and keep playing off and on, while others are ones that I play for a season and then move on from. There are also games that we'll play as a family off and on depending on the month. Overall, this month's list isn't quite as big as last month's. I didn't get to a couple of games that I've been playing, and we had some family picks that were a little different this month. The majority are games though that you'll be pretty familiar with from previous lists. The first is Fortnite. We're well into Chapter 6 Season 1, and I'm still enjoying it. January has brought a new music pass, which has been fun. It also brought Godzilla to the island, which was kind of chaotic fun whenever he would spawn into a match. We've also been a little bit busier in January, and I feel like we haven't been able to play quite as much as we have in other months, but we've still been enjoying the time that we've been able to play. Hopefully I'll be able to finish out the bonus rewards for the season. I still have a couple weeks to be able to get those done before the next season, although I feel like I'm I'm a little farther away than I would like. The thing that I really don't like about this season, and I wish was different, was the multiple levels for getting each bonus item, as I feel like that's kind of dumb and not how any of the other things in the Battle Pass worked, but I guess that's just the way it is. Second endless game is Marvel Snap. It's been quite a month for Marvel Snap. They wound up getting caught up in the TikTok ban since their publisher was owned by ByteDance, the same company that owns TikTok. This led to the game being unable to be played in the US for a few days. Thankfully, it came back, and Second Dinner gave out a quite extravagant compensation before the month ended. This also led them to change publishers so that this doesn't happen again. Definitely not what I expected for the game in 2025, and it doesn't sound like they really expected that either. Beyond that, it was pretty much a standard month for me. I am in the 70s and just can't seem to break out of that black hole. I win some and then I lose some and kind of stay right near that like 72, 73 range this season. Despite this though, it has been a pretty good month in regards to getting new cards. In January, I was able to get Iron Patriot, Annihilus, Bullseye, Misery, War Machine, and Ares. It was a pretty good month, but I feel like this was largely due to the compensation from the outage. If not for that, I probably would have only had 3 new cards this month, which isn't terrible, but also isn't really that great in my opinion. Overall, I still kind of have a love-hate relationship with Marvel Snap. I really do enjoy the game and it's fun to play, but it can also make me pretty frustrated at times. Third endless game is NGU Idle. I continue to work my way through NGU Idle. I feel like I'm a little bit at a weird place in the game though. I feel like I'm making progress and unlocking new upgrades through perks, quirks, and wishes, but at the same time, I don't always feel that's translating too well towards progress towards the end. I'm still in Evil trying to work my way up to boss 301, and while I am getting closer and closer, I'm still a number of bosses away from that. Thankfully, I have gained enough power to tackle more adventure lands, so I should be able to upgrade my equipment and hopefully progress a little more through Evil. The numbers are still going up in the game, but I must admit, I'll be kinda happy to see this game move off the list when I'm finished. At number 4, I have Marvel Rivals. Season 1 of Marvel Rivals started during January and is the first full-length season of the game. I enjoyed the Season 0 and finished out that Battle Pass and have been enjoying Season 1 as well. January saw our first 2 new characters, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. I don't do well with Mr. Fantastic the little I've played with him, but I do like Invisible Woman. Overall, I've been pretty happy with the game. The only real negative of the month is the Lunar New Year game mode, which I just don't find very fun to play. Even so, playing it does give you a free skin and some other goodies, so it makes the pain at least kind of worth it. I released a review of Marvel Rivals this month if you're interested in looking more at what I thought about the game overall. I'll put a link in the description and in the video here so that you can check it out if you like. The 5th endless game is Ultimate Chicken Horse. We played Ultimate Chicken Horse a couple times during January. We've managed to unlock a number of levels as we've played, which allows us to have a good variety of maps to play on. Some of these are pretty tough and ones that some of us don't really like very much, but we continue to have a pretty good time making epic death traps to try to work through. Definitely a fun game that we have been enjoying the last few months. The 6th endless game is Jackbox Party Pack 4. After having a couple months where we didn't play any Jackbox games, we did play one in January. This is a pretty good pack that has a number of games that I really like. We played each game in the pack once and had a good time with it overall. 7th endless game was Rock Band 4. As we do every once in a while, we pulled out Rock Band 4 and played it one night during the month. While we do enjoy playing the Fortnite Festival mode as an alternative to this, it isn't quite the same as pulling out the whole setup and playing Rock Band. Even after all these years, rocking out on some plastic instruments is still a pretty good time, and while it is a little bit of a pain to have to drag them out and get them all set up, it's still fun to do. And the last endless game is Timberman Versus. This is a game that we've played before as a family, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it in a Logging the Backlog video yet. The game is pretty simple. You're trying to cut down a never-ending tree or, something that's acting like a tree anyway. If you go too slow or get hit by a branch, you'll lose, and you're trying to be the last one standing or the first to fill the bar at the top of the screen to win. It's a fun game in short bursts, but not a game that is fun for a really long period of time. I've earned the platinum for this game already, but we do still play it once every long while as a family. In regards to trophies, since I finished Horizon Zero Dawn this month, I was able to change the game that I'm working on to get some more trophies this month. And that game is Ys Origin. This game is going to be quite the grind to get the last few trophies I need. As a game, I really enjoyed it. This is the first game I've played of the Ys series, and I enjoyed playing through the story and the gameplay quite a bit. Getting the platinum for the game though requires a ton of grinding. Just grinding to get to the maximum level is taking me quite a bit of time. You also then have to beat the game at least 6 times and grind out the arena mode to purchase all of the extras from the shop. While I did beat it about 3 times from playing it a number of years earlier, I still have a lot of grinding left to do. We'll see if I stick with it to complete this game or whether I kind of give up after a little while. This is definitely one example of a great game having a ridiculously grindy trophy list that brings the enjoyment of the game down overall. And that's what I played in January. While I do really wish I would get through some of my story games, I am overall pretty happy with the games I played during January. I completed 2 games, which is always good, and enjoyed playing a variety of games. It doesn't make me super successful in getting through my backlog, but I'll keep working on it. How about you? What have you been playing in January? Let me know in the comments, as it's always fun to see what others are playing and if you would recommend what you have been playing. Hope everyone had a great month and that you've been playing games that you enjoy. That's all for now though, so I'll see you in the next video.